I'm going to make you all think about how you could be a cultural chameleon by inspiring change around you. I come from a mixed family background. My parents are both English. However, my dad is also half Singaporean. I was born and raised in Dubai, and even though I've traveled to many places in my short lifetime, I have no other perspective on what living anywhere else in the world is like. Growing up as an expat, I never realized until I was older that I was just a guest in this country. While Dubai is very welcoming, it only looks after its own, which is understandable. But because of this, I find it very hard to establish where my home really is. Living an expat life is extremely privileged, yet there will always be a point at which you have to leave. As Dubai is an ever-growing city, there is bound to be change. Life in the city 10 years ago was very different to life as we know it today. For example, the house that I grew up in for the majority of my childhood would unlikely still be standing in 2 years, let alone 20. Therefore, a question I would like to ask you all is, how can living in Dubai enable you to help create a change? Whenever I go back to the UK, I'm always astounded, and I get a complete culture shock by how undiverse it is compared to the Middle East. Most people have never heard of the call to prayer or seen a camel race. They've never seen a sandstorm, which is appropriate after this week's events, or seen a villa engulfed in lights after a week-long wedding. So, how can living in a city, which provides you with numerous global experiences, make you become a person who is adaptable, with an international perspective on life, enable you to help create a change in the world? A part of me will always think I'm from the UAE. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only home I have. But now I would like you to think. You may have been born here, you may have lived here for years, or maybe only a few. Whatever the case, I want you to consider how you can use this as an opportunity to allow for growth. You can see the growth of a city around you, so what if you could allow for the growth of yourself? You could be the catalyst for change, no matter how big and no matter how small. My favorite quote by Gandhi is, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." If we, especially those of us who are younger, the faces of Generation Y, who are exposed to chronic change every day, cannot inspire change, well then who else will? In order for us to stimulate change, it's important that our own identities are maintained, yet still allowing room for growth. Living outside our own countries, we're forced to adapt to our surroundings, making us more decisive, giving us a greater perspective, and enforcing a seize-the-day mentality. Surely this gives each and every one of us a springboard to start the process of making a difference in the world. Well, it's easy enough to say that we can create change, but the question is, how do you go about it? The fear of being ridiculed is a big factor, which prevents many people from standing out from the crowd. But I hate to break it to you, you already do. You are living away from home in a foreign country. You no longer fit in with the people back home the way you used to. You stand out. Your mentality has changed, and your whole perspective on life has changed as well. You may not know it, but you are probably someone who people aspire to be. You've taken a risk, leaving your comfort zone, which is considered an outrageous thing to do by so many people. So now you've taken the first step. Why not take the other? Making a difference in this world does not take vast amounts of effort. It just requires the right mindset. Change you inspire could be as simple as recycling materials from home and just being more environmentally friendly. Or you could become more active in your day-to-day lifestyle and inspire others around you to do the same. Or you could try something more extreme, like jumping 10,000 feet out of a plane. Instead, you could try something on a bigger scale. You could volunteer at local charities, or you could even go abroad and help those in need. Whatever you decide, it would have an impact. The impact it would have would be positive. It would be benefiting others and putting your experiences living in Dubai to good use. Now, I'm not saying go and change the world, because that's physically impossible. There are over 7 billion people, and not all of which have the correct mindset to do so. But I am saying you can take a stand, you can make a difference, and you can inspire change, because if you won't, then who else will? Thank you.